I studied on the other side of the Iron Curtain. And in the early 80s, I had to decide what would be my PhD field. And at that time, two things happened that influenced me to go into environmental economics. The first one was that there was a member of my family who got very sick because of groundwater pollution, completely preventable if we were to have good regulation and if we were to have access to information. And it cried for me that we have to have policies that are protecting people's health and that are allowing the economy to grow without these negative impacts. And the second reason was that I got, at that time, the need to define the value of my thesis by quoting a Communist Party Congress document, which I didn't think was very research-oriented. So I said to myself, what is it that the Communist Party said nothing about, and it happened to be environment. But on a more serious note, Janet, what you said about your family coming through the depression, seeing people really so keen just to have a job, reminds me my country, Bulgaria, during the 90s, when our economy collapsed. Hyperinflation ate my mother's life saving over a couple of days. And I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and queue to buy milk for my daughter, which is so clearly a lesson as to bad policies are being paid by ordinary people's suffering. And good policies can bring opportunities to everyone. There are two lessons I learned in my professional life. The first one is the danger of women trying to blend in a male-dominated environment. Just flashed in my mind, walking into the World Bank building in Washington for the first time. I was to give a seminar, and I had a colorful jacket with flowers on it. I walked in the building, looked around, walked out, went and bought a dark blue suit so I can blend. But it is dangerous because what we want is diversity. We want women to bring ideas and perspectives that otherwise will not be in the conversation, to emphasize topics that otherwise may be underrepresented in research. And so I told myself since then, we need to create an environment in which everybody, men and women, feel equally comfortable and they can step up. So what does that mean? And this is the second thing I learned. There simply have to be more women in senior positions. And these women in senior positions ought to mentor other women to make sure that they create that sense of confidence for younger women to step up. I crafted a phrase that I repeat very often to women. I do bring our senior women together at the fund. And what I tell them is, don't be shy, please apply. Because as you know, women may be more self-critical and forego opportunities to engage on issues on which they are the best, or they have a lot to contribute, including in management. So I think that you and I, people like me, we have a tremendous responsibility to bring up women and also to be as direct, as honest and direct as we can be. We are very supportive, as you know, of the policies you are pursuing to address the needs of the most vulnerable people, to provide relief to the poor, to those that are most severely impacted by the unemployment this crisis has triggered, and also creating some of the policies that long-term help more women to be in the labor force, like more funding for childcare.
That's right.
I hope we would see these very progressive policies to be taking hold, not only because we are responding to this crisis, but because we want the world economy to be dynamic on the basis of bringing in the talent of all people, men and women.
Cristalina, first let me say what a pleasure it is to be with you on International Women's Day and to have a chance to talk about the progress that you described that women have made in our profession. But unfortunately, we still have a ways to go. There is still too few women around the tables that you and I sit at, but it is wonderful to see the improvement. I think one's identity is very much tied to one's job and how you feel about it. And being part of an organization whose mission you really identify with, that you can feel proud to say, I work for the IMF, I work for the US Treasury. And that means something. You have a mission, we have a mission, can explain what it is and identify with it and feel it's something that makes the world a better place. And that you believe in the way the organization is run, that it has the right values, that it treats people well, that it supports people, and you have an environment where you're going to work every day with people you respect and could collaborate with. To me, those are sort of the elements of a good life. And that's kind of what I would recommend to young people.